Hello and welcome to Allison Creatives. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming full moon. This full moon is on the 13th, and will be in Cancer, just opposite of Capricorn. And I think I want to start by just talking about Cancer and Capricorn, and what that kind of looks like. And Cancer is like kind of I think that you even mentioned this yesterday or the day before, where we really start kind of actualizing ourselves, you know. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, we're just kind of developing the ego. We're growing thoughts. We're developing language. All these things. Cancer, we start to develop the emotions and start to actually feel the world around us and inside. And I think of Cancer as a water sign, Capricorn being earth. And it's kind of the beginning, if you think about Capricorn as the sea goat. So there is an ability to dive into the depths of the sea and understand the language of the emotions, which comes from this experience from Cancer, right? Cancer really can kind of go fairly deep into these emotions and feels on a level that is more nurturing. It's not like deep like Scorpio. It's not like a collective empathetic deep like Pisces. There's like that first phase of water, of like where we really kind of tune into more of the internal landscapes here and like how we feel safe. And, and those are the developing parts of what I'm trying to say about the Capricorn is like, so as the goat, we can go deep, which is Cancer, and find the sensitivities of life, right? And then Capricorn was able then to reach the tops of mountains to understand. So there's an understanding of both the emotional realms and some of the more out of body experiences of where we've experienced life and understand where emotions can be placed. So Cancer is the first part of that in the development of Capricorn. In that opposition, we're trying to understand our internal landscapes to be able to make wise choices for ourselves, to be able to use the instincts and the lessons and the experiences that we have to listen to the emotional body. You think about what's the one thing that you're told when you first are learning about intuition. So you just said it to someone recently.
Oh, trust your gut.
Boom. Trust your gut.
It's the first one you develop.
Mm-hmm. And probably if your mother or your father or someone in your life didn't tell you that as a young person, you're starting to hear it now. Um, because that is actually where you understand how things feel around you and what makes you feel safe. This is the epitome of Cancer. This is the nurturing of the self. This is security. This is the development of what feels safe, um, and what feels comfortable. Also, like that's kind of a double-edged sword because what is comfortable isn't always the best for us, right? Um, and so that can get to be tricky. And so that goes where we try to learn about how we can listen to our gut, listen to what we're being told or what we're feeling inside to lead us to make decisions that bring us into safer situations or new situations that will allow a new development in who you are, right? Um, I think that It's about trying to create a home within yourself. Um, if you have big planets in the fourth house, or you have planets in Cancer, or have any big placements there, this is probably really important for you. You probably really rely on feeling comfortable and safe in situations, and this probably could lead to any kind of stagnation. This full moon coming up, full moon babies, Cancer moon, full moon babies, um, usually struggle with a little bit more stagnation. It's like kind of wanting to stay, you know? And if you think about water, when it doesn't want to, when it can't move, it's frozen, right?
Yeah.
And we have to unfreeze it. And we have a lot of this, we've had some placements like Mars is just coming back into Cancer. Um, and is going to start the cycle. You can catch the next video. We'll talk more about that. But it kind of feels like fire water.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like what's been frozen, what you chose not to take action on, or what you have avoided in feeling, what you've avoided in thinking about to not feel, what you've avoided to stay safe that hasn't allowed you to follow the pursuits of your dreams and your passions is going to start to melt away. And we get to like take a real look on how we feel and find acceptance and security in that, you know. Um, there was a saying that the one unchanging thing in life is change. Just sit with that for a second, because I really like I I value comfort. My second house is Cancer, so I value comfort. I want my clothes to feel soft. I'm like next level, kind of like want to be comfortable.
I'm
Okay.
thinking about your bed sheets.
Oh man, it's a thing. Okay. And so my whole life have moved really quickly through lots of things. I have to redo stuff all the time. I have to redo my lessons and all my shit, you know? And it comes down to my stubbornness of just wanting to be comfortable. And so this is like part of Allison for me, right? Is like, this is part of these videos for me, is like just coming out, getting a little uncomfortable, just coming out and speaking what I feel, you know, because we feel a lot of things. We all feel a lot of things, a lot more than we even know that we feel. But this is this is it, is like when we don't feel comfortable or safe, everything else isn't really working, right? And I think that we even go into like digestion. You know, we could talk about how much information out there is there to heal your gut? How much information out there is telling us that by healing the gut, we are going to make changes to our whole being. Everything changes, right?
Yeah.
Body talk. Let's go.
So when we look at like the digestive system at first, first we chew esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, plus everything else that's contributing to that. So when we go to eat something or like even drink, like we are starting the process of like taking something in and bringing it to the stomach, where we think about digesting it. It's not just about food, it's life in general. So if a situation is either unsettling or you're not ready to let go,
We're chewing on it up here,
yeah,
right? That's
like
how I
that.
just saw it. Like I was like,
It's where, the like TMJ,
mhm.
like you're just like, I'm just not sure how to do this, right? You're not even letting it go down into your stomach to
Yeah.
figure out how to um solve isn't the word, but process that
Yeah.
of what is happening. So think about also, I guess, to like go into the intestines when you travel and you immediately get a stomach bug. That is the catalyst to show you that what you are seeing, you are unable to process. So it
Interesting.
passes straight through you, diarrhea, to be frank.
Mhm.
You don't want to process or like accept that where you are is actually how people live, because we
Mm.
live in a very safe, comforting,
Mhm.
for those who are fortunate enough to travel to go to these places, and you're like, I cannot. Now think about it when we're at home and we are constipated. You're probably not willing to let go of either a part of yourself, a part of a situation. Um, you do not want to even, you're not even trying to think about what it could be after the fact. So you're holding on
Mm.
to something that you are no longer supposed to uh, be a part of or process. So um, looking at how your body is always trying to tell you where you need to be, what you need to be more in tune with. We choose, though, more often than not to be like, I just need more probiotics, or like think of anything that is what are those tips, tricks, and hacks over things that it's actually probably just tuning into yourself and getting uncomfortable and being like, this situation doesn't serve me anymore. And sometimes that is hard, but I mean, even a crab has to molt
Mm.
in order to find comfort again.
Mm. I didn't know that. Little tip for you. One of Jackie's little random tips. Uh, I love that. And because if you think, even, in herbalism and stuff for cancer, for herbal teas and stuff is like peppermint, chamomile, lemon balm, raspberry leaf, these things that can be really settling and ease, like there's like a comfort there when you drink them. Um, and like a coating of the stomach, to maybe help slow things down and process them. That's where I think that like plants and stones can be such a powerful tool in helping us kind of tune in and regulate some of those things too. Cancer rules the moon and naturally go to moonstone, which we have a plethora of here in the Black Hills. And how that moonstone helps us move through change. It helps us move through these programs of um, of control, basically. That's the opposite side of cancer is being a bit of a control freak of trying to feel safe, like that you think by holding on and holding true and keeping the walls up that we're going to be safe when really there's a flood coming and we need to get out. We need to get out,
Yeah.
and the walls need to come down. Um, and I think that's like kind of cancer's first defense mechanism is if you know a cancer placement, or if you have cancer placements, you know that you have kind of this like this guard that kind of goes up if you're feeling threatened, or if you feel like somebody is challenging you, so on and so forth. And so I think that um, remembering where we need to put our defenses up towards, and how these actual defenses don't sometimes causes harm, because the root of these placements is really this kindness and this desire to want to nurture yourself and others. And so if we have these walls up, we're not able to do that, which then we just continue to freeze up, right? We continue to close down and close off those connections that we actually really want. Like you want to be close to people. We want to be close to each other. Think of like 2021 and lockdown, like people losing their minds and dying more from like loneliness than anything. Like we want to be together. This is like a human desire. And so I think there's also the stimulation of lack there. There is like a stimulation and a release of the idea that there's not enough for everyone, or there's not enough for me, or I'm not enough. That kind of, this is what I'm kind of talking about, the lack. This like, I'm not enough, there isn't enough. Because you're even thinking about sacral chakra to the I feel, of like when we don't feel safe, when we don't feel like we belong, we don't feel like we're enough. When we feel closed off from others, when we don't feel connected, we don't feel like there's enough for us. You know, we feel like there is a lack where, again, that Cancer Capricorn axis really will work really hard and, go after their dreams with a certain tenacity. But there is an underlying fear that there's not going to be enough. And I think that's might even be some of that, the drive that might be part of the piece of the drive, not for everyone, take what you want from that. But I think that that's also there to like recognize and how do we digest the world around us then if you have that feeling swirling around as you digest the world around you, what does that look like? That comes up in disease, you guys. Like you think about like leaky gut and different IBS. And I mean, we could talk about a lot of different things, but I'm not a doctor. But I would say, just as Jackie had said, of like, if we're having those issues, like what's kind of going on around us, or what didn't we process from our childhood that's still really present and still really knocking at the door for you to just take a look at.
I would say you're born with placements in order to either overcome lessons that your soul chose to learn
Mhm.
and or because you're meant for more.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that some of us can bite those things off, chew them up, swallow them down, digest them,
Yeah.
eliminate them.
Yeah.
And then there's some of us that have been chewing on a certain thing our whole lives. Yeah.
Mine is food. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the emotional part of that, right? Like food is nurturing, food is comfort. And when we have issues around food, it whether it's excessive or the lack of, I think that that speaks to a lot of the feelings that you had of feeling safe, probably as a child.
Yeah.
Which we,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think, I don't know how much you have left to add here,
Yeah,
but
go
you're
ahead.
not defined by your ailments either.
Oh, definitely not. If anything, they're just there to help teach you to understand yourself, right? Like that's the baseline of any of these things is like we're really just experience some of these things because we need to understand that we are love. Like we are able to break through those things. We have that kind of power. And sometimes it's just like part of the reason we do this is like, let's share this information.
Yeah.
This is going to be useful for someone. And however you want to take it and digest it, like you can take whichever part of that you want. But I think the last thing that I want to talk about is the circulation and the stagnation, and how we can kind of break through. This full moons are about release, right? It's like the culmination point of whether a something comes to fruition or is illuminated, for you to um, change what you're doing, release things that will help you move forward, so on and so forth. So of recognizing this pattern of like, you might be more emotional this next week. Dig in, eat some ice cream, like watch a sad movie, like we could, there's lots of suggestions, or maybe just like hold yourself. Like that's legit. What I've been doing is just like holding myself. And guess what I do? I instantly cry. It's like, I'm not going to do it too long here because I might start crying. Um, but this part of feeling that I'm trying to fill into these stagnant places within me. Um, I'm trying to fill in and listen to the places that maybe haven't had a voice, that maybe have been so tucked away, because of all the other things that we're sensitive to on the outside of us, that I forgot was going on in here. Or I thought that I was going to get to her later, you know, and then I forgot. That happens to me constantly. Uh, and so sitting in the stagnation for just a minute to recognize her, right? This is like a big part of body talk of like the recognition of the space instantly allows circulation, instantly allows a new, let's just say we're talking about water, let's just say a new source of water to start drizzling in. And as that water drizzles in, we're then able to kind of flush out the stagnation. So give yourself that time this week. There's a lot of water present, period. A lot of things in water right now. And luckily, Mercury just moved into Capricorn. So we do, like, hopefully our thoughts can be a little more grounded. Hopefully we can use the wisdom and the archetype of that Capricorn to decide to make a plan to sit, decide to create some structure around acknowledging what's going on in here, to get some movement, or, it doesn't have to be movement. It could just be acknowledgement. Because half the time that's what feels best, is for somebody to see you. And when you can see you, nobody can take that from you. That's yours. That's your home. That's where you start creating home and security in yourself. Um, Other thing, we mentioned some teas that could be really helpful. Anything kind of warming, ginger, garlic, are powerful if you're feeling really kind of, if you're really feeling this moon. Some of us really get impacted by these things, and others of us are like, I didn't feel a thing. And I also think it takes practice. And so this is our kind of our push for you to practice, our encouragement, our little tap on the butt to say you can do it. Uh,
Sorry.
you're welcome.
Oh,
You just saw it, didn't you?
yeah, I felt it.
Yep. Other great things, there's a lot of somatic movements and little things that you can find online all over. This is a great time for that. Really kind of tuning in and nurturing yourself. Any kind of massage or breath work, anything that can kind of get the blood, the lymph, the things naturally kind of moving in the body, could be a powerful thing for you. Or just get a body talk session.
That's what I do. I do try to feel, but more often than not, I'm like, this can be fixed with body talk. Like,
Let's just skip right over the
I'm just
feeling.
gonna skip right over feelings. It's
Mhm.
100% me to a T. It might even get a little frustrated when I can't get past something that I actually am supposed to um
Feel?
feel, learn from,
Yeah.
get that wisdoms to not repeat it again. Um, but if Ashley doesn't have any more thoughts on the full moon in Cancer, um,
I think I have one more actual thing. Sorry.
no, let's hear it.
I think that I was just talking to you about it over breakfast
Okay.
of like how we tend to gain weight or create belly space here when we don't feel secure, when things aren't going well in our lives. So that's something to think about too, you guys, if you're struggling with weight or I feel like even hormones like that. I feel like I'm going through hormonal things right now, and that is fluctuating for me. And I also have things going on in my life that I feel I'm trying different things. I'm getting a little out of my security zone here, you know? And so it's those things, like, so thinking about that also, of like, usually if you maybe see somebody that you're going about to judge for being heavy, or you are judging yourself for being heavy, or any of those things below, of like, I want you to check in how that little person inside of you is doing, and nurture that person for a little bit to help you start to digest the world and make different choices if you're not feeling safe.
Yeah.
So that was my last little thing. Think I'm done. I mean, I could maybe just go on forever, but we just start repeating ourselves. Like, we'll just call it a good.
If you have any questions about the full moon, or if this is your first video and you found us, Allison does have a how to do your own chart, a freebie download. If you just want to skip right to warm fuzzies with Ashley, schedule your birth chart reading through the link in our bio. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you can get notifications for when we post the next video. Okay, thanks.
Bye.